Just pick up your pencil, crayons, and be colorful. I'm sure this world is wonderful. Showered in happiness, my blossom be friendship. It's a blessed I know your kindness led my way. 'Cause of my weariness, I was so blinded from all the unusual colors of mine. To think that I was so scared over nothing at all. I guess I was too young to know myself. In the future, even if my lines are all tangled up, I'll still be alive, and that's what matters, right? People in this world are incredible, so strong and so admirable. Each one is a miracle. Hey, just pick up your pencil, crayons, and stay colorful. You see, this world is wonderful. Though I may not be able to erase all my mistakes, I can paint on another page. Because everyone around you have always led that way. There's so much to your life, everything will be alright. People in this world are colorful, the ugly and the beautiful. Pick up colors in this world, hey. Just pick up your pencil, crayons, and be colorful. Because this world is wonderful.
This one time when they're in a caravan and they're attacked by a whole hell of a lot of people who are all dressed exactly in the same uniform as Duncan Idaho, and they all start attacking, right? And they all look like Duncan Idaho. And so, what do you do in that situation? You're Duncan Idaho. What the fuck do you do? Well, I've thought about it quite a bit, and it's like, you could like get yourself out of there. You could easily just get yourself out of there, out of the situation, and not be a target, right? Because everyone there is going to be trying to defend their god emperor. From all of the people who look exactly like you. You could like you could do something to change your outfit or whatever. So what does Duncan Idaho do? What does the man Duncan Idaho do? He rips off all of his fucking clothes so that he's completely naked, and then everyone knows which one is the real Duncan Idaho. And of course, Leto is just like, yeah, that's such a Duncan thing to do. What a Duncan. Who'd do such a thing? Duncan would. That's who. Started reading God's Debris at the request of the former emperor of China's request, and I'd never read it before. Maybe I would have appreciated this when I was like 12 or 5 or proto-human, but it's deeply frustrating. I'm only 13 pages in, and it's super fucking deeply frustrating to me. The line of reasoning, it's so far it's talking about God and the nature of God and stuff, and it's like from the perspective of neither a super religious person, which is what I was, or someone who has thought about it a lot, like a philosophical person. It's from someone who has never really thought about the concepts of God at all, and just kind of accepts them as true for some reason. And this is a position which I find untenable, completely unreasonable and retarded. And I can't deal with it. And if this character is going to be like this through the whole experiment, I don't want to cloud my mind with I sentences that are so fucking retarded. So let's just talk about some of the things that if God exists, and he just accepts the idea that God exists, just like for no reason, essentially for no reason, and already at that point, I have like a huge disconnect with this character. I don't accept the idea of God in the first place. If God exists, and why should he? Why should it? Why should they? What is the nature of God? Why would we even be able to comprehend it? So there's no point in me thinking about the fact that there would be or could be a God, because if there is a God, it's something that I probably can't fucking understand, or it's something that's like too understandable. It's like it could be just people with better technology. That's God as far as the Bible is fucking concerned, and it's deeply frustrating. So the nature of being all knowable, it's like immediately the concept of unknowable to me at this point is something that is a cementing clusterfuck nightmare. If you know everything, you know the outcomes of everything, you know everything that could possibly be, it ties your hands completely if you intend for things to play out in an unordered fashion. And if you make any action, then you know what the effects of those actions are going to be directly. So any thing that talks about being on the side of God and an all-knowing, omnipotent God, that it already makes no sense at all. And if it does make sense, then it's like, well, what the fuck are the motivations? And clearly we don't have free will, obviously. Like, obviously we don't have free will in the first place. Probably not. So I don't accept the premises. It's like throwing a bunch of these premises at me, and it's like, well, I question all of your premises. And the way that it's written, it's like so fucking smug. The other character that's like, I'm gonna introduce this premise, and then it's like, well, I don't agree with your premise. And then the character's like, I agree with your premise for no fucking reason. Oh man, it makes me. And the character says something incredibly, truly stupid. He says, "Why would God mislead us?" And it's like, well, actually, humans have misled themselves by creating God in the first place. You dumb, dense motherfucker. God. So goes on to say, the smart character goes on to say that the only challenge that he can think of for God would be the challenge of ending his existence. But then immediately follows that up with he could just will his existence to end, as just choosing to do it. So if that were the case, it wouldn't be much of a fucking challenge, would it? It wouldn't be much of a challenge, and it doesn't make sense to me that the thing that God would want would be like some challenge that would like that to get rid of himself out of the situation. To me, the Leto's second answer makes way more sense, which would be something impossible for him, something unknown, something that he couldn't see, and that would be a more ideal thing, that to me at least. It's the best answer I've heard, if we're accepting the premise that God has to exist, etc., etc. I'm probably not going to finish reading it because it is too frustrating for me, and it's frustrating for none of the right reasons. You know, if I feel like I'm just I've thought about this shit way too much to be interested in it. Maybe if I like had the cliff notes and just like what the thought experiment was, maybe that would be better. But um, yeah, as it stands, the book itself is no dice for me. My little approach with denying society completely as I could. It started with advertisements. I'm susceptible to propaganda, and I know that. So I know that the propaganda of advertisements is powerful. It uses all kinds of magics to incant your brain. And I was like wanting to get away from that. So for a while I was like off the internet even, and just like trying to avoid everything. I started looking at the objects in my physical environment, because if you look here, I mean, there's advertisements all over the place. Advertisements of ideas, of concepts, of even nature advertises like the concept of consumption in order to propagate yourself. And so the next thing that I started doing was reduction in bathing. And I stopped using shampoo, I stopped using soap, because the words themselves have mimetic and word letter meanings and things that I don't necessarily know the full context of, and don't like the magics of. And shampoo is, the word itself is gross. I don't like it. And hair conditioner, it's like, why am I conditioning my hair? And I'm literally washing my mind. I'm brainwashing myself, because my brain and my body are extended by the ecosystem of the stuff on my skin, and I don't know all the kind of communications that those things can do. And I wanted to allow that ecosystem the freedom to develop how it was going to. And so for a while I was just taking like hot showers with just water, and just allowing that water to take away what it could, and not use any kind of chemical technology in order to put it on. And that came, like, additionally, like fragrances in shampoos and conditioners and things like that also bother me, because the smells that they are completely artificial and have nothing to do with the like reality I actually live in. And so it's a lie. I stopped wearing shoes completely. I was barefoot for a huge period of time, just living feeling the nature under my feet, the rocks and the dirt and such. I was completely an animal, and embraced the animal part of me for quite a while.